At the beginning of the story, we see a man running wildly through the mountain forests. He's carrying a huge suit on his back, and his face is covered with cloth. Then, holding a sword in one hand, he leaps off a cliff. Below, a fierce battle is raging, and as he dives down like a hawk, he strikes one of the fighters and kills him instantly. Another soldier calls out to him as "Commander." The two then rush forward together and join the battle. It's clear from the scene that the men in orange outfits are their enemies. The commander moves like a roaring lion through the jungle, his every swing cutting down 15 to 20 foes. Seeing their comrades fall, the men in orange begin hurling bombs all at once. Everyone scrambles for cover, except the commander. He stands his ground, using his large suit like a shield, and his sword deflects the blasts, saving him. Then, charging forward with that same suit, he rushes at the orange-clad warriors. Just the sight of him terrifies them. They know their death is certain. When the battle ends, all the men in orange lie dead. A bloodied soldier says, "Commander, the mission was successful. Who knew they had bombs? If we hadn't reacted in time, none of us would have survived." Suddenly, one of the fallen enemies grabs the soldier's leg. He's still alive. The soldier raises his sword to finish him, but then notices several small bombs strapped beneath the man's uniform. The dying man laughs and says, "I'll take all of you to the underworld with me. This is my final gift." The commander is shocked, but before he can react, the bombs explode. The blast is so powerful that no one nearby survives. The commander tries to shield himself with his suit, but we see him hanging from a tree branch at the edge of the cliff, barely alive. With no strength left, he falls into the river below. Later, we see a young boy picking flowers in the mountains. Suddenly, he spots what looks like a ghostly figure, but it's not a ghost. It's the commander. The boy freezes in fear, then cautiously checks if the man is alive. Seeing no response, he runs away. A while later, some villagers find the commander and carry him off. The boy is among them. His name is Seokdong. Inside a small house, an old man and a doctor work to treat the commander's wounds. The old man asks, "Will he survive?" The doctor replies, "His injuries are deep. It's hard to say." Staring at the strange suit, the old man wonders, "Who are you? What happened to you?" Just then, Seokdong brings in hot water, clearly worried about the stranger. The doctor reassures him, "Don't worry, Seokdong. Thanks to your effort, he'll recover." When the doctor asks for more hot water, Seokdong leaves the room and runs into a girl. She asks, "Who's inside? Who did you bring? Is someone being treated?" Seokdong says, "Miss Jang-yun, please step aside. I'll explain everything." He tells her the whole story and adds, "Please, miss, this must stay a secret. You can't tell anyone." Jang-yun frowns, "But helping someone who's hurt is a good thing. Why hide it?" Seokdong replies, "Actually, miss, treating a warrior without knowing his allegiance is risky. No one knows what might happen later. That's why Mr. Wang said to keep it secret." 13-year-old Jang Yun says, "No matter who he is, healing someone is never wrong." Then, without listening further, she rushes into the room to see the warrior herself. Mr. Hung, the doctor, looks startled as she enters. Seeing the wounded man, Jang Yun freezes in shock. Mr. Hung moves to stop her, but she puts a finger to her lips and whispers, "It's a secret, remember? Don't worry, I won't tell anyone." Mr. Hung sighs. "Our rules forbid this." Jang Yun offers, "If you need herbs or materials, just tell me." But the doctor shakes his head. They need nothing. Since the commander is lying face down, Jang Yun can't see his face. "I hope you recover soon," she says softly. "No, you have to recover." Then she leaves. Over the next few days, the commander begins to heal faster than anyone expected. Even the doctor is amazed. His medicines have never worked so well. Time passes, and within months the commander fully recovers. We see him speaking privately with Mr. Wang, though their conversation is not revealed. One night, as Jiang Yun feeds a stray cat, she notices a man moving through the darkness. Startled, she makes a small noise, causing him to turn around. It's the commander, but neither recognizes each other. After glancing at her once, the commander walks away. 5 years later, the scene shifts to the city of Sejajang, where a grand party is underway. The head of the Jiang family and the head of Sejajang sit together, drinking and laughing. The Jiang lord thanks Sejajang for his help and for their future cooperation. Sejajang smiles, "No need for thanks. When I heard your family was struggling, I felt terrible. Let's forget the past. From now on, our two families will stand together." Nearby, the Jiang family's eldest son says to his sister, "See, Jiang Yun, our troubles are over. Good days are ahead." Jiang Yun smiles. "There's nothing better than harmony between our families." Just then, several men dressed in black approach the estate. None of the guards stop them. They slip inside quietly and suddenly attack the Jiang warriors, who are eating and drinking unarmed. One man manages to escape and rushes to the main hall. "My lord, run! We're under attack!" he shouts. But before he can finish, he's cut down. Strangely, the lord of Sejajang stands calm amidst the chaos. The Jiang lord yells for him to command his soldiers to stop the invaders. Sejajang nods and orders his men to deal with them. But as the Jiang lord turns to flee, he catches sight of Sejajang's wicked smile and realizes the truth. It was all his plan. Later, we see the families of the slain warriors mourning their dead, with Mr. Hung overseeing the aftermath. Meanwhile, Zhangju shouts in fury, "You still want me to wait? You want me to trust that blind alliance?" Now, about that, the blind alliance was created by the Marim Alliance to uphold justice and honor. Think of them as something like the police or the CBI. One of Jiang's ministers says, "Yes, sir, they're investigating who's behind this." Zhangju growls, "Investigating? I'm certain it's the head of Sejajang." Another minister adds, "Perhaps they're working with the Blind Alliance behind the scenes." Zhangju trembles with rage, while Jiang Yun secretly watches the meeting. A few weeks later, the Jiang family receives an ultimatum, a final warning: obey what's written or face. The letter stated that the Sejajang would claim authority over the Jiang family members who had lost their power. Along with that, Sejajang would take control of the Susun Mountain territory, and everyone under Jiang family rule would fall under Sejajang's control. Reading this, Zhangju angrily hurled the letter to the ground. The letter split the ministers into two factions. One believed they should fight Sejajang now. The other argued that their best warriors were already dead. The remaining fighters couldn't face Sejajang, and they should seek help from the Hepok Pang family. Fighting side by side with them was impossible alone. Zhangju said they didn't have time to wait for allies. Find masters who can help us at any cost. That evening, Zhangju received a letter from Mr. Hung. "Lord, by the time you read this, I will be gone. I may already have crossed the Quizwan and reached some unknown village. I apologize in advance for my month-long absence from my post, but I felt I had one chance to take. With the imperial flames spreading like wildfire and screams all around, I thought you could trust me. Though I am unsure whether I can bring him back, I still believe in the care I gave him 5 years ago. Forgive my inability. I'm going far. I must say this. I promise that if he returns with me, his strength will be invaluable. Please watch over things in my absence. I will return with good news. Yours sincerely, Wang Ju." As he left, Wang Ju found a house between the mountains and thought perhaps this was the place he had been searching for. Rain was falling, so he took shelter inside, then came out after the rain stopped and saw a mountain of stones. Near the stones he noticed something odd, what looked like tree leaves, but in a strange state. Then he saw a tree and realized someone had cut fallen leaves into identical sizes with a knife, an uncanny sight. A voice behind him said, "You're here, old man," and they both saw the commander. They sat by the fire and began to talk. Wang Ju asked how this place was, whether he'd be okay living so deep in the mountains with no houses nearby. The commander said it was better because there was nothing and no one who could cause much harm. Hung Ju admitted he hadn't expected this and asked how the commander had known him. The commander teased, "Didn't you deliberately leave your clothes to attract attention?" Hung Ju replied that he hadn't said he would come here. The commander said, "Old man, you're the only one who knows about this place." After a quiet moment, the commander asked, "Why are you here?" Wang Ju had been staring at the leaves in his hands, mentally preparing himself, deciding whether to speak. He mustered courage and said, "I need your help," then told the whole story. How months ago, Seja Jiang, who had been meddling in the Jiang family affairs for a long time, arranged a banquet to bury old grudges and unite the families, and the Jiang family foolishly trusted them. The price was paid on the banquet day when masked men wiped out the Jiang family's elite warriors. Only Mr. Hung's eldest son and Miss Jiang Yun survived. The rest were dead. The commander asked if they had asked the Blind Alliance for help. Wang Ju said they tried, but the alliance told them to wait until the investigation reached its full severity. The commander was surprised, that was all. Wang Ju suspected the Blind Alliance might be supporting Seja Jiang, so he had come to ask the commander for help, not to go out and fight necessarily, but to buy time. He'd asked Heavy Ping Jia for support, and believed with their help they could stop Seja Jiang. "Until then, lend me your strength," he pleaded. The commander apologized. He'd met no one in so many years and didn't think he could be of much help. Hung Ju tried to persuade him. Duty and guard are not the same. Those assigned to duty have an objective. The commander admitted another reason. He no longer wanted to fight with a sword, especially if killing someone might be required to save another. Hung Ju then took a book from his pocket and handed it to the commander. The commander, puzzled, opened it. Hung Ju explained the pages. A boy named Siak Dong, who will turn 14 this year, searches the mountains for medicinal herbs and has such a sense of responsibility he will fetch herbs at night. Siak Dong is the son of Siak Kong Sik. Another boy, Gai Yun, has worked in the field since age 5 and will turn 15 this year. On the third page was Jiang Desik, born this year, at which point the commander interrupted, asking what all this meant. Hung Ju said that if the commander joined them, he could save 300 lives, actually more than 300 people who don't know how to fight. They cannot sit quietly and watch them die. Shouldn't they try to save as many as possible? Before the commander could answer, he looked through the book and said, "Old man, don't you realize Gangu is exactly that kind of place? If you don't have the strength to stay alive, you shouldn't stay at all here. There's no place for the weak here." Before the commander finished, Wang Ju exploded in anger. "What? So we should all just die because we don't have power? Isn't it the duty of the strong to protect the powerless? Were you born strong? Were your parents strong from birth? Everyone alive today is here because someone stronger once helped them. And maybe that person was a stranger. You and I are both alive because many others helped us. Don't take this the wrong way, but people only ask for help when they truly need it. Just like that, hunting deer or protecting crops isn't real help, and building a stone tower for the dead at the village gate and praying for them doesn't help anyone either." The commander said nothing, or perhaps couldn't say anything. He just sat there silently. Seeing no response, Hung Ju put his clothes back on and started to leave. But then he suddenly stopped and said, "Do you remember the boy CO from the first page? The one who found you half dead 5 years ago? That boy was CO Gong. He came to me and led me to you. Do you know how far that was? Not less than 2 kilometers, nearly 4 for a round trip. A boy younger than 10 ran that distance, a trail even a strong man would struggle to walk, and begged me to save you while his own breath was fading. Think about it. A weak child saved your life. The very weak people you just spoke of, they saved you. It was people like me, the weak ones, who stood by you then. Remember this. Ganggu is a place where real humans live. Hung-ju then handed him a folded paper. If you ever change your mind, here's a map to the Jong family. With that, Wang-ju left. The commander didn't utter a single word. After sitting in silence for a long time, he picked up the book again. Seok-dong, Seok-dong. The name sounded so familiar. Then a memory flashed, a young voice saying, "You can't die, uncle." The commander threw the book into the fire, walked to the stone mound, bowed, apologized, and smashed the stones apart. Beneath the ground, he unearthed a casket-like box. Inside were his 2 suits, one called Gumado, the other Demonic Shot. Staring at them, he began mentally preparing himself. Meanwhile, we see several warriors who had come to aid the Jong family. One was Gokjeon Pung, another Wang Jin-su, both found by Officer Lee. They vowed to lend their strength to help the Jongs. The third and final master warrior was Nu Jae-in, who had been active in Ganggu for decades and was a disciple of Wasanpa. Hearing that, Jong-ju was thrilled. Seeing these 3 master warriors gave the Jong family a new sense of confidence. Jong-run and Mr. Wang finally felt a glimmer of hope. Jong-ju told them, "I'll do everything I can to support you. Along with food allowances and mission benefits, you'll each receive 5 silver coins per month for the next year. So give your best to help this family." Hearing that, the 3 warriors were pleased. Then Jong-ju added, "If you don't mind, I'd like to make a small suggestion. The elders and leaders already know your reputations, but the rest of my family doesn't. Why don't you show them who you are? Don't worry, I'll pay you extra for it." Hearing about payment, they all agreed. First came Gokjeon Pung. Before showing his skill, he said with a grin, "Just for fun, why don't we make this interesting? I saw a pile of cotton wool outside. Let's see who can cut it in the most beautiful way." Jong-ju liked the idea. A minister ordered Mr. Hung to fetch some cotton wool. Hung looked surprised, but obeyed. No elder or minister in the family ever respected Mr. Hung, though we'll learn why later. Gokjeon Pung examined the cotton carefully, then suddenly took out a black cloth and tied it over his eyes. Everyone gasped. Could he really cut in that condition? He tossed the cotton into the air, but each piece was at different height and distance, impossible to cut in one stroke. Gokjeon Pung didn't move at first. He waited for them to drift into range, then faster than anyone could blink, he slashed twice with his sword. No one understood what had just happened, until the cotton began falling from the sky like snow. The whole hall erupted in applause. Then he handed the black cloth to Mr. Hung, who confirmed he couldn't see a thing through it. Next was Wang Jin-su. He grabbed some cotton, threw it in the air, leapt up, and sliced it into long, even strips, as if cutting paper with scissors. Even Jong Ryan rose from her seat to applaud. Finally, it was Nu Jae-in's turn, the disciple of Wasanpa. He picked up 3 pieces of cotton, tossed them in the air like the others, but didn't jump. Standing still, he swung his sword 4 or 5 times. The crowd seemed disappointed. That was it? But then 2 pieces of cotton floated down, one into Jong-jun's hand, one into Jong Ryan's hand. Both were stunned to see the cotton perfectly shaped like plum blossoms. Nu Jae-in had changed their form and design with just a few slashes. The whole hall burst into cheers. Seeing the display, Jong-jun was overjoyed. He promised them 10 more silver coins and 1 family treasure each for a reward. The warriors bowed deeply, grateful. Later, Mr. Hung stayed behind with a few helpers to clean the room. Some bits of cotton still lay on the floor. He picked one up, wondering if he could ever do something like that. Just then, Lord Jong-ju entered, interrupting his thoughts. "Did you find any guards?" Mr. Hung had no answer. Jang Jun tried to reassure him. Those elders are lucky, you know. If you had brought someone from the north, he'd have been even stronger than the 3 we saw today. No, Hung protested quickly. The warriors Elder Lee and Elder Sam brought were truly amazing. I doubt I could have found anyone like them. Jang Jun patted his shoulder. It's sad you couldn't bring him. I know that'll weigh on you. But maybe it's for the best. Even if you had found that man, the elders probably wouldn't have let him in. No matter how good he was, you'd still have faced their sarcasm and criticism. So forget it. Hung thanked him for the kind words. After Jang-ju left, he thought maybe everything had worked out for the best. The 3 warriors he saw today were beyond incredible, cutting cotton blindfolded, turning it into snow or plum blossoms. It was almost magical. It didn't matter how long someone had worked for the Blind Association, there was no guarantee they were better. Besides, he didn't even know what that man had been doing all these years. As Hung sat lost in thought, a young girl approached and said someone outside wanted to see him. When he stepped out, his eyes widened. He couldn't believe it. Standing there was the commander. Seeing him, Mr. Hung shouted in pure joy. "I didn't think you'd come here," Mr. Hung said, his voice trembling with disbelief. "When I saw you, my heart almost stopped. Thank you so much." Then, noticing the commander's face, he composed himself. "I'm sorry, I was speaking too loudly." The commander replied calmly, "I haven't met anyone else since I got here, so please don't expect too much from me." Mr. Hung smiled faintly. That's fine. Just seeing you here gives me strength. I'm truly glad you came. Let me arrange a room for you, but first I'll find you a coat. People might stare if you keep wearing those clothes." He started to leave to find something suitable, but stopped suddenly, turned back, and asked, "Can I ask you something? Can you cut things with your eyes closed?" The commander looked puzzled. "I mean, can you cut something while it's falling, like that cotton there, see it? Can you close your eyes and slice it?" "I don't know," the commander said after a pause. "I've never tried." That disappointed Mr. Hung a little, but he asked again, "Then how many cotton wools can you cut with your eyes open? No, wait, can you shape one into a flower, like a plum blossom, or any kind of flower?" But seeing the commander's blank expression, Hung chuckled awkwardly. "Well, I guess no one can really do that. Actually, we invited 3 other guests to the Jang family recently. They put on a skill demonstration. One of them—" He began telling the commander about the 3 warriors' performances. The commander listened quietly, without any reaction. "Isn't that amazing?" Hung said. "I can't even imagine what kind of brutal training they went through to master such skill." Then he handed the black cloth to the commander. "If you have the chance, try it, and if it works, tell me later how many pieces you managed to cut." With that, Hung left to arrange the commander's room. The commander glanced at the cotton pieces and muttered, "Is that really such a big deal?" Meanwhile, in another part of the residence, Jang Ryeon was trying to imitate the 3 masters. She tossed cotton into the air and swung her sword, but as expected, failed miserably. In her attempt, Seok-dong almost got hit. Returning her sword, he said, "Miss, you don't need to do this. Maybe you should focus more on your herbal studies." Jang Ryeon shook her head. "I want to be the family's strength. Sitting and studying while the clan is in danger doesn't feel right." Seok-dong smiled faintly. "That's exactly why those warriors came. Didn't you see their skills? What can't they do with a few cotton wools?" "Still," Jang Ryeon said softly, "I'm worried. Are they really enough? I heard Seja Jang has recruited new warriors. I don't know if our family can stand against them." Seok-dong tried to reassure her. "Don't worry, miss. Our warriors will crush them, and even if something happens, I'll protect you." But Jang Ryeon didn't hear his last words. She was already preparing to swing again with her eyes closed. At that very moment, on the other side of the wall, the commander was doing exactly what Mr. Hung had suggested, trying to cut cotton with his eyes closed. But after each swing, disappointment filled his face. It had been too long, his edge had dulled. Meanwhile, Jang Rian, still determined, closed her eyes and swung her sword again. A cotton piece landed softly in Seokdong's hands, shaped like a plum blossom. For a moment she thought she had done it, that she was some hidden genius, but Seokdong shook his head. Then, suddenly, the cotton in his hand burst apart and floated like snow in the air. Snow! Soft white flakes began falling above them. Seokdong looked up, realizing it wasn't snow at all. It was cotton. He climbed the wall trying to see who was on the other side, but found no one there. Who could have such an extraordinary skill, to shape cotton into a flower, then scatter it like snow? Later, Mr. Hung showed the commander his new quarters, a quiet study room that servants sometimes used to rest in. The commander said nothing, his face unreadable, making it impossible to tell whether he liked it or not. Hung suggested he rest, then went to fetch clean clothes. Alone, the commander sat on the only chair in the room and closed his eyes, sensing everything around him. The room was 15 strips wide, 9 long, and 10 high. Most of the furniture was made of cedar. The roof 3 centimeters thick. The walls. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open as if waking from a dream. He covered his face with his hands. A voice came from outside, a young girl saying that Mr. Hung had sent him clothes. "Leave them outside. I'll take them later." Then he added, "Wait, do you have alcohol here?" Inside, his body trembled. Elsewhere, Jang Rian was still trying to identify the mysterious master warrior, the one responsible for that impossible feat. She had assigned an investigator to look into it, and now the man returned with his report. "Miss, I found that 6 people went to the backyard. 2 were unloading supplies, 4 were servants." "Anyone else? Any warriors or guards?" Jang Rian asked. "No, none," the man replied. Her face tightened with frustration. He continued, "Actually, I couldn't question everyone. I was in a rush. If you give me more time, I'll investigate the rest." She shook her head. No need. She was thinking, the Jang family residence isn't a place just anyone can walk into. Whoever did that must be an expert, skilled enough to avoid attention. It must have been one of the 3 warriors. But who? All 3 were talented. It could be any of them. But how to find out? Then the investigator hesitated. "Miss, I'm not sure if I should say this. It's not entirely reliable." "Tell me anyway," she insisted. "If it wasn't important, you wouldn't have mentioned it." He hesitated again, then said, "Well, I came across something by chance. There's a rumor that a man, possibly one of the 7 wonders, is living in Nangum right now." The words hit her like a bolt of lightning. "The 7 wonders? Did I hear that right?" "Yes," the man said. "A friend of mine who works in the local accounts told me." Jang Rian remembered what her father had once told her when she first held a sword, that among the current warriors of Gangu were a few exceptional masters known as Ildang Chung, each with their own title and legend. Her father had told her to remember their names, 7 mysterious masters known as the 7 wonders, warriors who moved like the wind, leaving no trace behind. Seeing her lost in thought, the investigator added softly, "Again, miss, this information may not be reliable." But Jang Rian didn't hear him. Her eyes were distant, burning with resolve. "Prepare to leave," she said suddenly. "We're going to Nangum, to the place where one of the 7 wonders was seen." And with that, she began getting ready, her father's words and the investigator's rumor echoing in her mind.
Dressed like that, and besides, how can you tell someone's a Dan Owl just by looking? But Jang was willing to take the risk. Even if it was just a rumor, an opportunity like this was worth it. The warriors who arrived today may be the best in their respective regions, but Moke, that's another level entirely. Even the powerful Hievipin Ja family, one of the most influential clans on the entire continent, can't compare to the skill of the 7 wonders. In other words, Moke isn't just a name. He's the real master of this entire country. Just then, Mr. Hung walked in and froze at the sight of Jang Ryung dressed for travel. "What's going on?" he asked. "Hung, please," she said quickly. "I need a carriage right now. I have to meet someone immediately." "No, no, no," Hung protested. "Young miss, the Lord has forbidden anyone from leaving the house until the end of the month." "I know," Jang said firmly, "but I have to go." Hung raised his voice, panic in his tone. "No, if the Lord finds out, he won't stay calm, especially after Seja Jang's ultimatum a few days ago. If you go alone, who knows what dangers you might face? I can't allow this." "Please, Hung," Jang said, her voice soft but determined. "It's Seong Ryo. The rumor says he's here." At that name, Hung went pale. "Wait, are you talking about Moke?" "I don't need to say more," Jang replied. "You already know how powerful he is." Hung fell silent, torn, but Jang pressed on. "The Pabilun carriage drivers, they're your friends, aren't they? They won't refuse you. Please, Hung, can you arrange it?" Hung frowned. "Young lady, the way you're speaking, it sounds like you've only heard this rumor. Going after someone based on gossip isn't wise. Even if he's really there, who knows if he'll even help the family?" "With full confidence," Jang said. "Convincing him is my job. Yours is just to get me there." Hung still hesitated, but Jang wouldn't back down. "Hung Node, we might never get this chance again. Please help me, just this once." Hung, loyal to the Lord for years, knew disobeying orders would be betrayal. But if Moke really sided with the Jang family, defeating Seja Jang would be easy, and ultimately that would help the Lord too. After a long pause, he agreed, but on one condition. "Another person will accompany you. You must stay with him at all times." "Who?" Jang asked. "The family's escort warrior," Hung replied. Meanwhile, the commander sat before a pot of liquor, staring at it intently. He poured himself a bowl and drank. His hand trembled, but after the drink, the shaking stopped. He kept staring at the liquor, and suddenly a reflection appeared, a face shouting at him. "Captain, we're turning into monsters, aren't we?" It was Sam Usik, the same man who once said that if he didn't drink regularly, his body wouldn't stop shaking. Back then, the commander had scolded him for that weakness, for relying on alcohol. He had always despised dependence, yet now, here he was, the same. "They call this alcohol withdrawal," he thought bitterly. "Look it up on Google if you want." He drank another bowl, memories flooding back. The day Sam Usik first joined the team. "My name is Sam Usik. My mother named me so I'd always have 3 meals a day, even on rainy days." But he hadn't died on a mission. He'd taken his own life, on a rainy day, crushed by the pressure of their work. There were many like him. No matter how strong their minds were, the kind of work they did could destroy anyone. And Sam Usik, he had always been too kind for that world. The commander suddenly sensed light footsteps approaching. Someone stopped outside his door. "Are you inside?" a voice asked. When the commander answered, the man said, "I've come on Elder Wang's orders. Please come to the main gate." The commander didn't fully trust him, but followed anyway. They walked for quite a while, but there was no sign of Mr. Hung. Suspicious, the commander prepared to strike, but then he saw Hung himself, looking deeply troubled. "I'm sorry," Hung said immediately. "I should have discussed this with you earlier, but I was pressed for time." "It's fine," the commander replied. "Tell me what's going on." "There's a carriage parked nearby. Inside is Lady Jang Ryong, one of the family heads. There's an emergency. Please help her. Don't ask too many questions. Your only job is to stay with her and return safely before dawn. Once you're back, forget everything that happened tonight. Can you do that?" The commander looked once at the carriage, then nodded. "Understood." "Thank you," Hung said. "I can trust only you with this."
It was the first time Hung had ever gone against the Lord's orders. Whether or not Jang met Moke, this incident could never reach anyone's ears. When Seokdong saw who stepped out, his eyes widened in shock. "No, this can't be!" The commander climbed into the carriage and introduced himself. "My name is Gwang Hira." Jang Ryong, her face partly veiled, looked at him and asked sharply, "Have you been drinking?" "Yes," Hira admitted. "A little." The carriage started moving. Jang Ryong looked at him again. "You're here to protect me, right? Are you confident you can do that, in this state?" Hira's voice was steady. "I won't let any harm come to you." But she didn't seem convinced. Her eyes moved to the large weapon strapped to his back. "What's that behind you?" "Kumado," he said. "And the one at your waist?" "Yaoi." Jang studied both weapons. They looked impossibly heavy, too heavy to even lift with both hands. The other had a strange shape, its handle even more unusual. Can he even use these? But Mr. Hung said I could trust him, so I tried to believe that. Still, my mind was full of questions. "Do you have some kind of secret combat technique? Something no one else knows? Because normal warriors don't use weapons like those. Then again, I haven't met a real warrior in a long time." The commander just looked at her once and stayed silent. It seemed he wanted to say something, but didn't. After a while, Chang said softly, "You can boil moo goat or just take its powder. It's easy to find and good for hangovers. No matter how much you like alcohol, you should take care of yourself." Still no response. She frowned. Why won't this man say anything? Then she asked, "Do you even know where we're going? We're going to meet Moke." Silence. Frustrated, she raised her voice. "Moke! We're going to meet Moke!" "All right," the commander said flatly. That was all. Chang sighed. Hopeless, she thought. "You really don't know who Moke is, do you?" "Don't you know about Moki, one of the 7 wonders?" For the first time, the commander's expression changed. "Moki? Is he really one of the 7 wonders?" he asked. "Yes," said Jang Rong. "Moki is one of them." The commander nodded slowly. "The 7 wonders. They've changed a lot. Still, thank you for telling me." Jang Rong didn't understand what he meant. What is this man even talking about, she thought. Even the gods wouldn't know what's going on in his head. Outside, the coachman kept driving, glancing at the massive Kumado sword and the strange-looking blade the warrior carried. No way. Could he really be that man from 5 years ago? He thought. Everyone said he was the one who defeated death itself. And if Elder Hong trusted this man enough to assign him to guard the young lady, he had to be a great master. Inside the carriage, Jang Rong kept trying to explain who Moki really was. "Listen, he's not like ordinary people. His nickname is Feng Yan Doge, the man of talent. Just from the name you can tell he can handle 15 to 20 men at once. He's a muscle master, for whom no path is too hard. He's strong, yes, but also proud. So if you meet him, you'd better choose your words carefully. Understand?" The commander nodded. "I want to ask something," he said quietly. "What does it mean to be strong?" Jang Rong was startled at first, then her expression hardened. "What? Are you making fun of me?" But seeing his calm face, she realized he was serious. "Fine, let me explain. Being strong literally means mastering martial arts. If you're powerful, you can fight anyone and win. Now, do you understand?" The commander listened intently, his eyes wide. Then he nodded again. "I see. Your definition is valid but also incomplete. According to you, if someone isn't good at martial arts, he can't be called the strongest warrior." Jang Rong frowned, not fully grasping his meaning. Just then, the commander sensed something. Someone was following them. Moments later, 3 men in black appeared, charging toward the carriage with swords and spears. Their weapons slashed through the air as they attacked.
But suddenly a deep voice echoed in their minds. Leave. The assassins froze in shock. Then, before they could react, the commander burst out of the carriage, one hand gripping his kumado, the other pulling Zhang to safety. Xiang barely had time to realize what was happening before the commander's kick launched him back onto his horse. He shoved Zhang up behind him and said firmly, "I'll deal with them. You go, now." With one swift move, the commander cut the reins, separating the horses from the carriage. The coachman and Zhang galloped away as the commander turned back to face the attackers. Standing in the middle of the road, he asked coldly, "Who sent you?" They didn't answer, only charged straight at him. But there was something different about the commander's face now, a look that sent chills down their spines. Meanwhile, Zhang, riding away, couldn't stop worrying. Can he really handle 3 men alone? Xiang tried to reassure her. "Don't worry, miss, he'll be fine." But she shook her head. "He's been drinking. In that state, it's impossible." Xiang smiled faintly. "Young lady, trust me, that escort warrior, he's not ordinary. He's strong, stronger than a master maybe, the master." "How do you know that?" she asked. He opened his mouth to answer, but froze, spotting a figure on the left. His lips curved into a smile. "Miss, look, there he is." She turned and saw the commander walking calmly toward them. "What about the assassins?" she asked. "They ran," he replied simply. "They ran? They must have been sent by the Seejaw clan, right?" "I couldn't confirm. They escaped before I could." Zhang looked troubled. "If assassins have already infiltrated the family's main area, things are getting bad. Just like Wang No said, we need to meet Moki fast." Elsewhere, the truth was revealed. The assassins were dead. The commander had lied. He hadn't used his sword once. He'd killed them with nothing but shattered wood and broken carriage parts. Soon other men arrived to inspect the bodies. "Looks like they've brought powerful masters from all over the country to fight the Seejaw clan," one said grimly. "So it wasn't just a rumor. We'd better report to the Lord. Plans must change. We'll have to enter the Zhang family earlier than expected." Later, Zhang and the commander arrived at the Barkham Inn, where Moki had supposedly been seen. She handed a pouch of silver coins to the old innkeeper. "I'm looking for someone," she said. The old man's eyes widened at the sight of the coins. Bowing deeply, he said, "Just tell me the name, miss. My eyes have served me well for 60 years. They're yours now." She explained, "The man I seek came here a few days ago. He was wearing a robe, and he had a very handsome face. Also, he carried a Dan Ulu at his waist." He hesitated. "You mean a Dan Ulu? I've never seen one myself, only heard stories, but if you tell me what it looks like, maybe I can help." She began describing it, but the commander interrupted, giving an even more detailed description than she could. Chang stared at him in disbelief. "How can you know so much about the Danulu?" she asked. He replied quietly, "Because I've seen one." She didn't believe him. Very few people even knew the differences between Danulus, yet he spoke like an expert. She eyed him suspiciously. How can someone who doesn't even know Moki know so much about the 7 wonders Danulu? Finally, she asked, "What was your relationship with the man who carried the Danulu?" "An old friend," he said. Zhang's face lit up. "Then why not introduce him to the Zhang family? You know we need strong warriors right now." He looked down. "That won't be possible." "Why not? His skill isn't as great as I think it is?" "No," the commander said softly. "He's long dead." "Oh, I'm sorry." She tried to brighten again. "Then what about your other friends?" But he cut her off. "All of them are dead." Outside, Xiang sat lost in thought, replaying the earlier battle. The way the commander had saved them so swiftly proved one thing. He wasn't an ordinary warrior. A small smile formed on his lips.
3 masters, 1 warrior, and Moki himself coming to the Zhang family. With that, we have nothing to fear from Sijia Zhang. He didn't notice the 2 figures watching him from the shadows, grinning menacingly. Back inside, the old innkeeper returned, shaking his head. They hadn't found the man. Zhang sighed, clearly disappointed. "I'll check the rooms myself," she said. The innkeeper stepped forward quickly. "Wait, miss, there are strong warriors staying here. If you barge into their rooms, they might attack. If you can wait until morning, I'll check each one for you." "But we can't wait until morning," she said firmly. "Then I can't allow you into the rooms." The commander spoke up calmly. "So as long as I don't enter a room, everything is fine." "Yes," the innkeeper nodded. "That's fine." "Good," the commander said, his eyes narrowing slightly. "That's all I needed to know." The innkeeper said, "You can't touch the door or make any sound near it." The commander replied, "I'll ask you one last time. If I don't go inside, don't touch the door, and make no sound, then everything's fine, right?" The innkeeper didn't like his tone. He looked at the 2 swords hanging from the commander's side before answering, "Yes, that's fine." Then the commander said, "Good. Now bring me a lantern." The innkeeper frowned. A lantern? He couldn't understand why the man needed one, but at Zhang's polite request, he went to fetch it. Once he was gone, Zhang asked, "What are you going to do with the lantern?" The commander replied calmly, "I'm going to see something." Meanwhile, outside, Xiong was getting restless after waiting for so long. He glanced around, trying to see whether the others had found Moki or not. Just then, 2 drunk men climbed onto his horse and started laughing. "What are you staring at, huh? This horse is ours now." They rode off laughing loudly. Xiong ran after them, shouting for them to stop. But before he could reach them, 2 pieces of wood flew out of nowhere, lifting the thieves into the air and hanging them from a tree. Startled, Xiong turned to see a man standing behind him. "If you're drunk, go home. Don't mess around here. Anyway, you okay?" "Yes, I'm fine. Thanks for helping me." He placed his hand on one of the horses. "Nice horses," he said with a smirk. "So nice that I almost feel like stealing them." Inside the inn, the commander arrived upstairs where the warriors were staying. He used the lantern's light to cast the shadow of his sword across a door. Seeing it, a man inside shouted, "Hey, what's going on out there? Whose sword is that? I can see a shadow on my door." Another man came out glaring, "Get away before I kill you." But the commander didn't move. He stood calmly in place. Then the door opened, and a rough-looking man appeared. "What's the problem here? Why you making noise?" The commander bowed slightly. "Forgive me, sir. I can't see well in the dark, so I had to use the lantern. My apologies." The man grunted. Fine, I'll let it go this time. But if it happens again, you'll regret it." As the man went back inside, Zhang suddenly understood what the commander was doing. He was testing reactions. By shining his lantern to cast the shadow of his sword on the door, he could gauge how the warriors inside would respond. Any true martial artist would sense a threat instantly and react, she realized. The stronger the master, the calmer his reaction. But then she frowned. "If that's the case, why didn't you check the other rooms?" "They're not from Murim," the commander said simply. "How can you tell that just by looking from outside?" He pointed to the shoes left near each door. "Theirs are made of silk or leather, things only wealthy nobles wear. But Murim warriors usually wear shoes made from animal oil or dyed cloth. Also, anyone whose shoes are worn down at the toes or heels is unlikely to be from Murim. A true warrior never lets his steps grow careless. They walk as if every moment could be a fight." Zhang was stunned. He deduced all that from a single glance, using just a lantern. "So what do we do now?" she asked quietly. "If time is on our side, we wait until morning." So they decided to wait. As dawn neared, Zhang sipped her tea and asked, By the way, how did you meet Moki? He replied, by chance. Where and when? He didn't answer, just sat in silence. She sighed. Fine, forget it. Then how did you become an escort? I'm in debt. I don't think it's about money, Zhang said softly. I think Wang No did something for you, something big. You're doing this job to repay that favor, aren't you? He nodded once. So what did you do before this? I was part of the Murem Alliance. Zhang's eyes widened. The Murem Alliance, an elite organization every warrior dreamed of joining. It offered honor and a steady income, but its entry tests were brutally hard. Each year thousands applied and only 500 were accepted. Really? She asked eagerly. What was your rank there? He cut her off. Even if I told you, it wouldn't matter. I was at the very bottom. She looked disappointed. I see. So my guess was right. Even with your skills, you might not be of much help to the family. Then, more seriously, she said, Listen, Sijia Zhang's power isn't what it was when you were in the Alliance. From what we know, it would take at least 10 Murem Alliance warriors to defeat them. But who knows how much stronger they've become since then. We can only predict what's coming. I appreciate your help, but if you're doing all this just to repay a debt, please stop. There's no need to risk your life. I'll tell Wang No what you've done and free you from your debt. The commander's tone hardened. Mind your own business. You don't need to get involved. She fell silent, but she couldn't help feeling sorry for him. No debt should be worth risking your life like this. After a pause, the commander asked, Do you know anything about a former member of the Seven Wonders, Dan Li Hun? The moment she heard the name, Zhang's face went pale. Don't say that name. He's the leader of the Murem Alliance now. Mentioning him could get us killed. The commander's expression shifted slightly, part surprise, part sorrow. So Dan Li Hung is the leader now. He looked down, lost in thought. Then Zhang spoke with admiration. Dan Li Hung truly is a great man. He came from Chilg, joined the Chenjiang Dan group, and saved countless lives. Every time I hear the story of how he stopped the mass massacre, The commander interrupted quietly. He didn't save them out of mercy. Stopping the massacre was part of the Chenjiang Dan group's mission, and there were many hidden missions like that. Countless heroes gave their lives for their country, silently enduring their pain. In the name of justice, they never realized when their hearts turned dark. Dan Li Hung just happened to survive until the end, that's all. His voice carried a weight that filled the room with silence. Then, breaking the stillness, a voice came from behind. Interesting story. Sorry to interrupt, but I couldn't help listening. Would you mind if I joined you? Zhang turned, and her eyes widened. She saw the two swords at the man's side. Of course, she said quickly. Please, have a seat. Thank you, he replied, reaching for a chair. But the commander stopped it with his foot. Your name. Shouldn't you introduce yourself first? The stranger looked at him calmly. You're right. My name is Sag, but you can call me Moki. I believe I'm the man you've been looking for. Zhang froze. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Moki smiled faintly. Most people recognize me by my Dan Ulo, but if you'd like, I can. Before he could finish, the commander suddenly stepped in front of Zhang, lowering his head respectfully. Forgive my behavior, sir. Moki understood instantly. He smiled. It's fine. Then sitting down, he asked, If you don't mind, can I hear more about what you were discussing earlier? The commander replied evenly, It was just a rumor I'd heard. Oh, then have you heard this one? They say the Changchang Dan, founded by the Murem Alliance, was originally the Salsu Association. The commander gave no response. You'll find out soon enough, Moki continued. Most of my fellow Seven Wonders were from Chenjiang Dan. Only Dan Li Hung and Haki came from elsewhere. Among the Seven Wonders, that rumor was quite popular. Jiang looked at him carefully and asked, Are you really Moki? Moki gave a faint smile. Honestly, he said, I was about to ask the same thing. Why are you two looking for me? Jiang lowered her scarf, revealing her face. I'm Jiang Yi-young of the Jiang family, the clan leader's daughter. Right now there's conflict between the Jiang family and the Zhang clan. They've killed nearly all our master warriors, though of course they deny it. Moki said nothing, just stared at her quietly. Jiang couldn't tell if he was even listening, until he gestured slightly for her to continue. Our family's manpower is low. Even though we have more numbers, the CGR clan has far more master-level warriors. We've managed to hire a few ourselves this time, but honestly, we don't yet know how strong they really are. Are you even listening? Moki blinked, coming back from his thoughts. Oh, yes, I'm listening. Those people, such cowards. They deserve punishment. Jiang found his tone oddly casual. Her father's words echoed in her mind. Among the 7 wonders, there are all kinds of people. Some live quietly, avoiding the spotlight, but some crave it, and it's said that Moki, in particular, loves beautiful women, especially young ones. Watching him grin so casually, Jiang began to believe this truly was the Moki from the legends. She continued, One of our family's servants told me you were in this area. That's why I came, to ask for your help. So that's my story. I'll ask directly. Will you help the Jiang family? Whatever you want in return, I'll do my best to provide. Before she could finish, Moki said lightly, All right, I'll help you. You will? Jiang's eyes widened in disbelief. Of course. Why wouldn't I? Those people attacking you for political gain, sneaking around like cowards, it disgusts me. And besides, his eyes twinkled mischievously, how could I possibly ignore such a beautiful young lady who's been forced to suffer because of politics? Jiang blinked. So, what do you want in return? Moki waved his hand. No, nothing big. Just you, young miss. What do you mean, just me? Jiang asked, frowning in confusion. There's a place about 10 miles from here called Bride Gateri. They say people visit for its beauty. It's autumn now. The leaves are all red. It'll stay that way for another month. A perfect place for a stroll with someone like you. Jiang stared at him. Are you joking? Moki's expression turned serious. Not at all. People say I don't take anything seriously, that I joke about everything. But I'm not so heartless that I would mock someone's pain. So let me ask you something. Does the Jiang family have any world-famous martial artists? Do you offer special rewards to newcomers? Shower them with treasures? She shook her head. No, we don't have anything like that. But if it's money He cut her off. Money? No. If I cared about money, I wouldn't be wandering around or meeting a young lady like you. And to tell the truth, my ears are everywhere. I already know about your feud with the Zhang clan. It's been going on since last year. Do you really think I wouldn't know that they've already recruited several strong warriors? He leaned back and continued. Zhang wants power, that's not wrong, but the way they're going about it is. So if it's about stopping wrongdoing, then yes, I'll help. And tell me, why would a man known as one of the 7 wonders demand payment for doing the right thing? But, he smiled slyly, as a man, I do have one weakness. I like good company. A stroll with a beautiful lady? Who could refuse that? Don't take it the wrong way. I just want to walk with you, that's all. He stood, brushing off his sleeves. Whether you agree or not, it doesn't matter. As long as the wind still blows, I'll help the Jiang family, no matter what. The wind? Jiang repeated softly. Yes, Moki said with a nod. And your other conditions? She asked carefully. I already told you. As long as the wind blows. Jiang bowed her head slightly. Then I'll be deeply grateful for your help. Moki inclined his head in return. No matter what happens, I'll stand with you. Watching him, Jiang thought silently, "Ah, the charm of a hero." But then her expression hardened. If he sees me as some kind of trophy, then he's no hero at all. Still, his first priority seems to be helping the weak. I'll have to see with my own eyes if this man is truly Moki. She asked aloud, "Can you prove that you're really Moki?" Moki chuckled. "Proof? I have none. But you realize what you just said is an insult to the 7 wonders, right?" Chang froze, unsure how to respond. "But I'll let it pass. People say I'm light-hearted. Maybe that's why no one believes I'm one of the 7 wonders. So how about this? Why don't I prove it with a duel? I'll fight your escort warrior." The commander didn't flinch. His face was as unreadable as ever. Moki studied him. As expected, no reaction. I, one of the 7 wonders, challenged him to a duel, and he didn't even blink. Not even when I looked straight into his eyes. Is this arrogance or confidence? I won't know until I see him fight. Jiang suddenly stepped in. "I'm sorry, but he's here to help the Jiang family. How can you say such reckless things?" Seeing her fire in her eyes, Moki raised his hands apologetically. My mistake. I got carried away." Then his gaze returned to the commander, and again there was no reaction, not even the smallest flicker. That surprised him even more. Everyone's eyes or expressions change based on emotion. Even those who hide their feelings still reveal something. But this man, nothing. His expression doesn't change with his emotions. I can't read him at all. He had never heard of any escort or warrior from the Jiang family who had this level of composure. Not even a decent fighter, let alone an expert, had ever come from that clan. Yet here stood a man whose stillness could unnerve even Moki. He couldn't believe it. Moments later, Moki picked up a few pieces of cotton wool, turning them over in his hands, as if thinking. Jiang explained, "Those cotton wools were used by 3 of our family's warriors to demonstrate their techniques. I won't go over what they did again, but tell me, what can you show us?" Moki smiled. "What can I show you? Why not show you all of it?" Jiang's eyes brightened. "You mean it?" "Of course. I could perform all 3 blindfolded, but let's try something different." He closed his eyes, tossed the cotton wools into the air, then leapt upward, his Dan Ulu flashing twice through the air before he landed. Then he jumped again, slashing 2 or 3 more times. When he landed, tiny white petals began falling from above, cotton wool shaped into perfect plum blossoms. But the real surprise was yet to come. All the floating plum blossoms gathered together in the air, forming 2 glowing letters. Jiang gasped, speechless. Moki looked up and said casually, "Ah, the wind was strong. My handwriting turned out a little messy."
Jiang asks, "By the way, can I take this black cloth?" Jiang replies, "Yes, but why?" Moke asks, "Isn't this yours, young Miss Jiang?" Then he tightly grabs the black cloth in his hand. Jiang is momentarily stunned by his sudden action and can't say anything, but after a moment, she walks toward Moke to take the cloth back. She had barely taken 1 step when the commander suddenly appears in front of her. He shouts, "Step back! This man is dangerous." Jiang is confused by the commander's reaction. "What do you mean? He's the one helping us." The commander calmly replies, "He has a sword, and he's strong. For your safety, it's better if you keep your distance from him." Jiang angrily tries to say something, but before she can speak, Moke bows his head and says, "He's right, young miss. I'm an escort warrior, and whenever someone walks around with a weapon nearby, it's his duty to stay alert." Jiang says, "But nothing is even happening." Moke gently explains, "He's just doing his job. There's no reason for you to feel offended or angry because of his actions." Then Moke picks up a piece of cotton wool and says, "Why don't you show us your skill using this cotton wool?" Jiang also supports the idea. You said you would protect me, right? Then show us your ability. That way you won't just help me, but the entire Zhang family." The commander looks once at the cotton wool, and then at Zhang's face. After a moment, he extends his hand. "Give it to me." The commander takes the cotton wool and tosses it into the air. Then he performs a single slash with his weapon. In the next moment, the cotton wool is cleanly cut into 2 pieces, as if someone sliced butter with a knife. Zhang's eyes widen in shock. But Moke's attention is focused on the strange handle of the commander's sword. Interestingly, Moke cannot even see the blade itself, because if he could actually see that blade, he wouldn't be standing there so calmly. But that's something we'll learn later. The commander then says, "You're strong. You will probably save many lives. But I'm not like that. I cannot save many lives. So for me, it's not important how something can be cut. What matters is whether I can cut it at all." Moke is left speechless. He simply stands there silently. Zhang, however, understands the deeper meaning behind the commander's words. It's not about how you cut something, but whether you can cut it at all. Moke finally says, "Thank you. Those were very wise words. Because of you, I've once again realized the responsibility I carry on my shoulders. I will do everything I can to help the Zhang family. But for now, I won't go directly to the Zhang family. If I do, Jika Zhang will have time to prepare. So we'll move slowly and plan carefully. Jika Zhang is not a family that can be destroyed in a single attack." Zhang bows her head and thanks him. Moke smiles and says, "I hope we meet again someday, young lady, and you too." Then Moke starts walking away. But suddenly he stops and looks at the commander. "And next time, I'd like to see that big sword of yours." The commander says nothing. Then Moke leaves. Because of this, the mission that made Zhang leave her house is finally successful. As we saw in the last episode, Zhang successfully convinced Moke, and now Moke, one of the 7 wonders, has agreed to help the Zhang family in their battle against Jika Zhang. That night, Zhang is dreaming about all of this while sleeping. But suddenly she wakes up. She still can't believe that Moke agreed to help them. In her excitement to share this news with her father, she quickly jumps out of bed, only to accidentally fall to the floor. At that moment, someone outside says, "Miss, Elder Hung has come to see you." When Mr. Hung sees Zhang, he is slightly surprised. Was she always this beautiful, or is it because the worry on her face has finally disappeared? Seeing her relaxed also brings peace to his heart. When Zhang asks the reason for his visit, Mr. Hung hands her a letter. "I found this while cleaning this morning. It has your name on it, so I brought it to you." It's a letter from Moke. The letter reads, "Did you sleep well, young miss? There are many thoughts in my mind, so I'm writing them in this letter. You might not believe it, but after meeting you yesterday, I couldn't sleep even once. But don't misunderstand. It's not because I'm afraid of Jika Zhang. It's because I met you. Since yesterday, I've been wondering how many people in this world ever get the chance to meet someone as beautiful as you. For me, it was a very lucky encounter." Reading the last line brings a smile to Zhang's face, but when she notices Mr. Hung standing in front of her, she becomes embarrassed. She quickly runs to the corner of the room and starts reading the letter again. The letter continues, "Maybe I said too much. I hope you understand. To be honest, there's another reason I sent this letter. Last night, I heard an interesting rumor. In 4 days, some famous warriors from the Jika Zhang family will visit the Zhang family. No matter who comes, I hope you won't lose your temper and take any reckless actions. Otherwise, they will use that as an excuse to start a conflict with your family. No matter how bad the situation gets, you must endure everything silently, because I will personally come to meet them. And one more thing, don't tell anyone about me. I want to make my entrance in front of our enemies like a hero." After reading the letter, Zhang's smile grows even more. Mr. Hung asks, "May I know who sent this letter?" Zhang shyly replies, "I'll tell you later." Mr. Hung nods and then asks, "By the way, how did your task last night go?" Zhang smiles again, "I'll tell you that later too." Now Mr. Hung has nothing else to say. "All right, then I'll take my leave." But as he reaches the door, he suddenly remembers something. "Oh right, about the escort warrior you met last night. Was there anything suspicious about him?" Hearing this question reminds Zhang of something she saw the previous night. She had seen that escort warrior drinking alcohol. When she asked, the commander said, "Could you pretend that you didn't see that?" Zhang then asked, "That's fine, but can you hide it forever?" The commander replied, "I don't want to disappoint anyone, especially not Mr. Hung." Remembering those words, Zhang tells Mr. Hung, "No, he helped us a lot." Hearing this makes Mr. Hung happy. "Really? Then I was worrying for nothing. I always trusted him. He's a good man." Meanwhile, the people that Moke mentioned in the letter have already arrived. But according to Moke, they were supposed to arrive 4 days later.
So what happens next? Over in the meeting hall, Zhang arrives and sees something unexpected. His father and older brother are arguing. His brother, clearly frustrated, says, "Father, what does all of this even mean? Not 1, not 2, but you're assigning all the warriors as my escort warriors? Why would you make a decision like this without even asking me? The warriors who just arrived from the other families are already strong enough. I can't just walk around with all of them. And what about Rong Riang? He hasn't had a single squad warrior for the past year." Zhang Ju snaps back angrily. "You fool! Can't you see the bigger picture? Who do you think the enemy will target first? And after that, where do you think their blades will turn? If a war breaks out between the Zhang family and the Sek family, you and I will have to leave this place. At the very least, we need to show that the Zhang family is still stable. And what if something goes wrong during an enemy attack? Zhang's position is different. He won't have to fight on the front lines. That's why he doesn't need an escort right now." His older brother is left speechless. Zhang Ju continues, "Stop thinking about this any further. This isn't just my decision. It's also the decision of the supporting families. Do you understand?" Just as his brother tries to respond, Zhang suddenly interrupts. "Wait, brother. Father is right. I heard everything, and honestly, I think it's a good idea. And if the problem is about escort warriors, then you don't need to worry. I already have a squad warrior, someone brought by Mr. Hung." Meanwhile, the very warrior they're talking about is lying in his room completely drunk. At that moment, the commander recalls a question he once heard. Have you ever heard a story like this? The Celestial Group, previously referred to as the Chiang Jungdong Group, is what we'll now call it. This group, created by the Murium Alliance, was supposedly an assassination group. The commander remembers last night's fight, how he killed those 3 enemies, but a question lingers in his mind. Who is the target, and who is meant to protect that target? As this thought hits him, his eyes suddenly open. In the Celestial Group, one person had to act as the target. Another was assigned to protect that target from the Murderers Group, while also killing the assassin. But the commander had refused to ever become the target. One day, Sam asked him, "How, after losing so many comrades, are you still okay? How haven't you gone insane?" Back then, most of the people who took on the role of target had died. Sam thought it was amazing that the commander was still holding on, because the one acting as the target only fears death, but the one protecting them carries 2 fears, killing the assassin and saving their comrade. 2 lives rested in the commander's hands. After Sam's death, the commander began to question everything. Was the Celestial Group really killing murderers? After going on more missions, he realized the truth. It wasn't an assassination group fighting against killers. It was a target group. They were being used like bait, like sacrificial lambs, just to lure and eliminate the real assassins. And after last night's incident, a chilling thought creeps in. Is he being used as a target again? Back in the meeting hall, Zhang Ju is shocked upon hearing about the squad warrior. "Who are you talking about?" Zhang replied, "The squad warrior brought by Mr. Hung." When questioned, Hung confirms it. Yes, he brought one. But the elders immediately explode in anger. The Zhang family is not a place where you can just bring in some unknown outsider. And if Hung brought him, then he's probably just like him. Throw him out. Hung quickly apologizes, but Zhang Ju silences the elders with a glare. Then he asks, "Is this the same person you mentioned in your letter? If so, why didn't you introduce him to me earlier?" Before Hung can respond, two elders interrupt, mocking. He probably realized his warrior was nothing compared to ours. But Zhang strongly disagrees. No, compared to the warriors who arrived recently, he's not inferior at all. His skills are exceptional. The elders dismiss him, saying, "That might be how it looks to you. Even an average warrior might seem great from your perspective, and you're talking like he came from some prestigious place." Zhang replies calmly, "Exactly. What do you think of the Murim Alliance? That's a prestigious place, isn't it?" The moment he says that, the entire room falls silent. Zhang Ju can't hide his excitement and orders Wangode to bring the warrior immediately. But just then, an elder rushes in, visibly terrified. "Master, there's a huge problem. People from the Sek family have arrived." Moments later, both sides face each other. Zhang Ju asks, "The mighty Sek family, what are you doing in a place like this?" Sek Domyo replies arrogantly, "Aren't we about to fight over something meaningless in a few months? As a great man, isn't it my duty to fix everything beforehand?" Everyone internally mocks him. This guy really called himself a great man? Zhang Ju responds coldly, "And how exactly do you plan to fix everything?" Sek Domyo smirks, understanding the tone behind the words. "There's a reason I came here. Recently, one of your people was seen entering our territory. We grew suspicious and followed him, only to see him heading towards Zhangsan, the place where the Heibuk Ping family frequently visits. Now tell me, what does it mean when someone from the Zhang family goes there? Surely it must be a misunderstanding, right? The Zhang family wouldn't be so weak as to drag another family into this conflict, would they?" Zhang Ju holds his head in frustration. A month ago, he had secretly sent Elder Sa to seek help from the Heibuk Ping family, avoiding the Sek family's surveillance. But how did they find out? Before he can respond, another man says mockingly, "So it's true, you pretend to be honorable in front of others, but betray them the moment you get a chance." Another adds, "Coming here so fearlessly, you must think highly of yourselves." Sek Domyo then notices two unfamiliar faces. "Oh, new faces. Leader Zhang, are these the two warriors you recently recruited?" Turning to his companion, he says, "They look decent, almost like tigers, don't they?" The man laughs and replies, "Don't worry, they've just stepped out of their cage. They don't know what the real jungle looks like yet. Honestly, they don't seem that skilled." Hearing this, the three warriors are visibly shaken. Nujin can't take the insult anymore. He steps forward and says, "Fine, then let's have a match. I'll show you whether I have skill or not." A smile spreads across the man's face. Everything is going exactly according to his plan. Some elders immediately try to stop Nujin.
Seeing Zhang Ju deep in thought, everyone decides to just let things play out for now. But instead of Teacher Kyung stepping in to fight, a red-haired man walks forward. His name, Gong Dae-hoo. Since this was only meant to be a skill test, the Seok family decides to use controlled power. The two step forward and face each other. Nu Jin plans to end this in a single move using his technique. Everyone watches closely, not even blinking. And then the match begins. Both of them strike at the same time, their palms colliding mid-air. The impact sounds like an explosion. Gong Dae-hoo gets blasted backward, slamming into the wall, and collapses unconscious. But at the same time, Nu Jin's hand starts trembling in pain. His arm won't move. It might actually be broken. Then, Hong Jin-soo steps forward. "I'll fight too." Nu Jin tries to stop him, but it's already too late. Something feels wrong. He realizes they're being dragged into a trap. That red-haired man, Gong Dae-hoo, he wasn't a short-range master at all. He was an inner technique master, someone who attacks the internal organs directly. But they made it look like he was a short-range fighter. This was planned. This was a trap. But before anyone can react, Hong Jin-soo is already fighting the blue-haired opponent. Both of them use inner techniques, but the difference in power is overwhelming. With a single strike, Hong Jin-soo gets launched like a football, crashes into the wall, and loses consciousness. The Jang family is completely stunned. They can't believe what just happened. Then the blue-haired man casually looks at his unconscious teammate and says, "Hey, get up. How long are you going to keep acting? Your acting sucks." Suddenly, Gong Dae-hoo bursts out laughing, then stands right back up. Jang Ju feels a chill run down his spine. Now what? At any moment, a real fight could break out, and right now they only have one squad warrior and one normal fighter left. Who's going to save them? Just then, the sound of the palace doors opening echoes through the hall. Everyone turns, and the moment they see him, Jang shouts, "Warrior Nim!" The commander has arrived. As he walks forward, even the blue-haired man instinctively steps aside, without realizing it himself. He didn't want to move, but his body moved on its own, like a wolf stepping aside when a lion approaches. The commander walks straight up to Jang Ju and calmly says, "I'm the one Mr. Hung brought." Jang Ju replies, "I am Jang Moon, head of the Jang family. I apologize for not meeting you sooner. But are you really from the Mu Rim Alliance?" The commander glances at Jang and answers, "Yes, it's true. I used to work within the Mu Rim Alliance." A small spark of hope appears in Jang Ju's eyes. "Then you must have met high-ranking officials there. People like us can't even dream of meeting them." The commander replies calmly, "No, I worked in a minor organization. I don't know anyone important." Jang Ju already expected this. He knew this man was probably just an average warrior, but in a situation like this, where both of their recruited escort warriors had already been defeated, he hoped, just a little, that this man would exaggerate his background. Then someone from the Seok family smirks and says, well, the head of the Jang family has some hidden tricks. Since when did you start bringing in people from the Mu Rim Alliance?" Seok Damyo steps forward and asks politely, "If you don't mind, what exactly did you do in the Mu Rim Alliance?" But the commander stays silent. Damyo tries again. "Look, here, you may not know me. I'm Seok Damyo, an elder of the Seok family." Still no response. Now the blue-haired man gets furious. "How dare you ignore our elder? He's been talking to you this whole time, and you won't even look at him?" For the first time, the commander speaks. "Respect? You're talking about respect? Coming here without notice, acting like this place belongs to you, and you call that respect? I don't care who you are, but this is the Jang family, and here things are done properly. Didn't anyone teach you that you inform a family before meeting their elders?" The entire atmosphere changes. The blue-haired man, enraged, tries to attack, but at the last second, Teacher Kyung stops him. Still, he points at the commander and says, "I'll kill you, remember that." But there's something only Teacher Kyung notices. The commander never moved. Even when faced with a sudden attack, his body didn't react at all. Normally, anyone would instinctively shift into a defensive stance, but the commander just stood there, completely calm. Teacher Kyung thinks to himself, did he know I would stop it, or was he just frozen in fear? We'll find out soon enough. Then, Seok Damyo finally reveals the real reason for their visit. The Seok family wants Water Cloud Mountain, a sacred place belonging to the Jang family. The mountain is incredibly beautiful, and the leader of the Seok wants to gift it to a friend. If you agree to give us the mountain, he says, there will be no war. The entire Jang family erupts in anger, because that mountain holds their shrine, and asking for another family's shrine is the same as declaring a war. Jang Ju replies coldly, if you wanted to fight, you could have just said so. Why go around in circles and demand our shrine? Damyo calmly replies, what matters more to you, a shrine or people's lives? We only want the mountain. You can relocate the shrine, build a new one, and any losses you will be fully compensated by the Seok family. Jiang Ju's eyes widen. If this is true, then no one in the Jiang family would have to suffer. No lives would be lost. Damyo continues, I brought these men not only because they are squad warriors, but also respected legal figures. You've heard of the 3 steel blades, haven't you? He points to them one by one. This is Gong Song Chi, famous for resolving family conflicts without bloodshed. Next to him is Lin Bu, well known across the Sangxi region. And lastly, Mo Kai Yu, a scholar from Sachan, respected for his honesty and ideals. These 3 will prove that I'm telling the truth. Jiang Ju falls into deep thought. He doesn't want to give up his family's shrine, but if it can stop a war, should he? Even the ministers are divided. Some want to fight, others want peace. But Jiang feels uneasy. Something isn't right. If the Seok family only wanted Water Cloud Mountain, then why have they been fighting for the past year? They could have made this offer long ago. Sensing something off, Jiang turns to the commander. Orem, you understand what's going on? I don't get why the enemy is saying all this, and bringing the 3 steel blades here makes it even more suspicious. You worked in the Mu Rim Alliance, right? Do you see something I don't? But as usual, the commander stays silent. Frustrated, Jiang leans closer and whispers, Excuse me. Suddenly, the commander speaks. Should I stall them for a while? Jiang is caught off guard. What does he mean? Meanwhile, after thinking for a long time, Jiang Ju finally makes up his mind. He's ready to give his answer to the Seok family.
Just as Jiang Ju is about to speak, we, the Jiang family, the commander suddenly cuts him off. It seems the Sok family didn't come here for peace. It came here to fight. The entire Sok family is caught off guard. But the commander isn't done yet. He slowly looks at them and says, Was I wrong, Mokgang, or should I call you Mokji Num? The moment that name drops, the atmosphere freezes. Don't remember? It's been a while, so let me help you. He points at one of them. Your name isn't Gong Song Chi, it's Gong Yachi. 10 years ago, after mastering the House Tiger Punch, you disappeared after losing to a single man. And the region you operate in isn't Kong Wook, it's Kwa Dong. Then he points at the blue-haired man. Your name is Sun On Byuk. You mastered the steel tiger leg technique, but you also disappeared after a defeat. And you don't operate in Songshi, you work in the south, Gamnam. And no, you're not a short-range master either. Finally, he looks at the last one. And you, Mokgang, pretending to be a captain. You defeated these 2 and turned them into your subordinates. Your real job? Hiding within the Hao Men group and feeding information to the Black Swordsman group. He pauses, then smirks slightly. Looks like in the past 5 years you've built quite the reputation. Otherwise, why would people call you Mudyang Salu, the 3 steel blades? The moment that name is revealed, everyone in the Jiang family is stunned. These weren't righteous warriors. They were from Sapa, a shadow faction known as ghosts, people who lived in the darkness and worked in the shadows, avoiding the Murim alliance at all costs. Among them, Mudyang Salu was known as the Lion of the Shadows, their identities completely exposed. Mokgong's expression twists with rage. Who are you? Tell me the truth. The commander replies calmly, I'm just an escort warrior of the Jiang family. That answer pushes Mokgang over the edge. Kill him! He orders his subordinates to attack. At the same time, the Jiang family guards rush in to stop them, but the blue-haired man slips past everyone and charges straight toward Jiang Ju, aiming to kill him instantly. But before his blade can even touch, something flies through the air and smashes straight into his face, sending him crashing into the wall. A deep wound forms across his face. It was the commander's weapon. On the other side, Gukjang Pyong is fighting the red-haired man. But Gong Yachi easily reads his attack pattern. Gokjong is simply swinging left and right, predictable. The moment Gong Yachi moves in to counter, the commander suddenly pushes Gokjong forward from behind, closing the distance instantly. And in that split second, the blade reaches Gong Yachi's head before he can react. His hair gets sliced, and he freezes in place, unable to move. No one notices. No one, except Nujin. He saw everything. That tiny push, that perfect timing, reducing the distance by just enough to change the outcome. All of it happened in 1, maybe 2 seconds. Nujin can't even process it. How skilled do you have to be to pull something like that off? Seeing his subordinates in that state, Mokgong finally draws his sword. But suddenly, a voice from behind stops him. If you want to live, don't even think about drawing that sword. Mokgong turns around and sees someone standing there. He didn't even feel his presence. That alone tells him this man is far beyond him. Meanwhile, Zhang Yang is almost shaking with excitement. "Father, look, on his back, that mark, that's Mokei." Zhang Ju can't believe it. The man walks forward, greets Zhang politely, then glances sideways at the commander before saying, "I should have met you earlier. Sorry for being late." Zhang Ju stutters, "Are you really that Mokei, one of the 7 wonders?" He replies calmly, "Well, that's what people call me." Mokgong's entire body starts trembling. Why is someone like him in the Zhang family? Sekdomyo quietly asks, "Is that really Mokei?" Mokgong answers, "Whoever he is, I don't want to make him my enemy." That answer shocks Domyo. He immediately turns to Zhangju. "We've said what we came to say. We'll take our leave now. It seems you have an important guest. I won't disturb you further." But just as they try to leave, the Zhang family warriors block their path. Zhangju could stop them, could even kill them, but he chooses not to. The elders protest, "We can't let them go. Didn't you see what they did?" Zhangju replies, "I don't want to let them go, but if we stop them, we'll give them a reason to start an all-out war." Hearing this, everyone falls silent. Meanwhile, as the Sok family leaves in humiliation, their carriage ride is filled with silence. Domyo thinks, "I almost convinced Zhangju, but everything was ruined. First that escort warrior, and then Mokei." Gong Yachi asks, "How did the Zhang family even get someone like Mokei on their side?" No one has an answer, but Mokgong has a bigger question. How did that escort warrior know my real name, a name he abandoned 20 years ago? No one should know it, so how? Suddenly, something crashes into their carriage. The entire carriage flips off a cliff and crashes down below. Domyo is knocked unconscious, but the 3 warriors are completely fine. They break out of the wreckage, and as soon as they step outside, they see him, the commander, standing there, calm, cold, waiting. They should have died, and yet they're still alive, and on top of that, they're the ones who should die first. Gong Yachi shouts angrily, "You crazy bastard! Were you trying to kill us?" The blue-haired man stops him. "Wait, Mokei might be here." He looks around cautiously, but the commander says calmly, "He's not here." They don't believe him. "How can we trust you?" The commander replies, "You can, because I alone am enough to kill all of you." Silence, shock, an escort warrior saying something like that? Then Mokgong steps forward. He's right, Mokei isn't here. And then a cruel smile appears. If Mokei isn't here, killing an escort warrior is child's play. The blue-haired man lunges forward in rage. "I told you, I won't let you live." He attacks at blinding speed, so fast that it seems the commander is cut in half. But what he cut
was just an after-image. Before anyone realizes, the commander has already sliced off both his legs at the knees. Gong Yaqi's eyes widen in disbelief. What did I just see? Before he can react, a blade shoots forward like an arrow, piercing straight through his heart. He dies instantly. Everything happened so fast. Mokgong can't process it. He tries to calm himself. Don't panic. He threw away his armor. This is your chance. You can win. But his hands are shaking so badly, he can't even draw his sword. The commander looks at him and asks coldly, "Do you know why you're still alive?" A pause. "Because you're weak."
You're not strong like the others. That's why no one on the battlefield ever feared you. Those words hit Mokgong's pride hard. Unable to take the humiliation, he lunges forward, his sword aimed straight at the commander's chest. But the commander doesn't move. Mokgong is sure his blade has pierced through, but then he realizes that wasn't the commander's chest. It was just the sword's sheath. The impact tears the fabric on the commander's right arm, revealing something underneath. A tattoo. The moment Mokgong sees it, his eyes widen in pure terror. "No, that's impossible." The commander speaks calmly. "It's been a long time since I've heard that name." Then he moves. In a single motion, he closes the distance. Mokgong, panicking, shuts his eyes and wildly swings his sword, but the commander effortlessly dodges everything in one leap, grabs his head, and twists it 180 degrees. Dead. Even in his final moment, Mokgong has only one thought. A celestial guard here. How could anyone like him still be alive? But he never gets his answer. The commander looks once at his tattoo, then at the 3 corpses behind him, and silently walks away. Later, when Seokdomyo regains consciousness and steps out of the wrecked carriage, the scene in front of him is so horrifying he almost collapses from fear. Without looking back, he runs. On the other side, we see the commander washing his face in a river. As he cleans the blood off his clothes, memories from his past start resurfacing. The day he told Danju about Samsek's death. Danju had said, "So Samsek is dead, the subordinate you cared so much about." He paused, then continued, "It's strange, isn't it? No matter how many people you kill, no matter how many comrades you lose, you don't feel anything. That's why you'll go far. But that's also your greatest weakness. Those emotions you're trying to bury, don't forget them. They're what make us human, even after everything we do. Though, I suppose I've already failed at that myself." Remembering those words, a faint smile appears on the commander's face. "Forgive me, Danju, but I've failed too. The emotions I thought I buried have only grown sharper. It's unfortunate, but I'm no longer human. I've become exactly what you feared." That night, the commander returned to the Jang family territory, but something about him feels off. Everyone is talking about Moke. As he walks, his mind drifts back to the past, a past soaked in blood, a past that feels like it's about to repeat itself here. Voices echo in his head, questions, criticism, praise. "Commander, isn't it amazing, an assassination group that targets assassins? Wasn't that the 5th person you failed to save? They're sending you on another mission. I almost feel sorry for you. But you still did your best, right? You've killed many, but you've saved many too. Tell me, please tell me, is that true?" The voices keep piling up until suddenly he sees someone in front of him. Bak Chakom, a member of the murderer assassination group. He smiles. "Hello." The commander's eyes widen, and suddenly a loud explosion. The illusion shatters. He's back in reality. A child runs up to him. "You're the escort warrior who came to help our family, right?" More people gather around him, asking the same thing, but the commander has no answer, so he walks away. After running for a while, he stops. Moke is here now. Their problem will be solved, and I needed an excuse to leave anyway. This is the perfect time. Meanwhile, back at the Jang family, two ministers confront Jang. Why did you let Moke leave? The Seok family will try everything to recruit him, and if he switches sides, it's over for us. Jang explains calmly, that wasn't my decision, it was his. He said if the Seok family finds his location, it would become difficult for him to protect us. The ministers argue, and what if the Seok attacks before he returns? Can we really hold them off? Jang replies confidently, yes, because we still have an expert warrior, a squad warrior from the Murim Alliance, Wang Hira. The ministers burst out laughing. Do you even realize how big the Murim Alliance is? How many people work there? How can we trust someone who wasn't even part of a famous group? Jang responds, we can trust him. Can you tell just by looking at my shoes whether I've trained or not? They reply, of course not. Jang says, but he can. Still, they remain unconvinced. Maybe he just picked up a few tricks, nothing more. Now Jang is visibly annoyed. Do you even understand what an escort warrior does? Is their job to show off their skills or to protect against enemies? Because of him, we escaped the Seok family's trap today. At least acknowledge that. One minister sighs. Fine, we admit his instincts are good, but we need power right now. Can he stand against someone like Moke? Jang hesitates. I don't know, but I trust Mr. Wang. He said this warrior is someone we can rely on. Another minister snaps. We don't trust him. He's a sinner, and in the past, as a foreign minister, he dealt with merchants, not warriors. He doesn't have the eye to judge strength. He might bring a good businessman or a government official, but not a warrior. Talk to Moke again. That's our only hope. With that, they leave. But as they open the door, they see the commander standing there. Later, Jang and the commander sit face to face. Jang says casually, just so you know, I don't have alcohol. If you want to drink. The commander cuts her off. I have some. I only drink my own. Then he asks, does everyone hate Elder Hung? She's surprised. You heard that? The commander replies, you were speaking pretty loudly. She brushes it off. It's nothing, just minor arguments. Don't worry about it. They came because they had complaints. The commander says, complaints? It feels like people here either have nothing to do or they're just waiting for Moke to solve everything. Jang frowns. You're talking too much now. The commander asks calmly, am I wrong? Anyone who sees ministers speaking like that about their own family's foreign minister would think the same thing. Jang looks slightly surprised. He's not the foreign minister anymore. He used to be. When the commander asks about it, she explains. 9 years ago, because of the Gold Eye Merchant Group incident, he lost his position as the foreign minister. The moment the commander hears that name, Gold Eye Merchant Group, it feels strangely familiar. Jang begins explaining. 9 years ago, the Gold Eye Merchant Group was one of the largest merchant groups in the country. They dealt with coastal and island traders and had a major deal planned. Do you know about stone salt? That same stone salt was discovered in a mountain under our control. The quantity wasn't huge, but it was enough for trade. As she speaks, the commander slowly starts remembering everything. 9 years ago, that's when he first met Hwang Node because of this exact group. Back then, the commander needed information about the Gold Eye Merchant Group, so he asked for Hwang Node's help. And he agreed. Officially, the Gold Eye Merchant Group was known for trading silk and wood, but that was just a cover. In reality, they were connected to the Yoja Ring faction. Their real purpose? Collecting dangerous weapons. And among them, one stood above the rest, a material called cornerstone.
the key ingredient for making grenades. That mountain the Jiang family controlled, famous for stone salt, actually hid something far more dangerous inside, and the Gold Eye merchants were secretly gathering it. But no one knew what they were planning to do with it. Jiang continues, "The day they tried to move the stone salt, a sudden landslide buried the entire mine. After that, our relationship with them was completely cut off. But the truth? That landslide was no accident. With Huang Node's help, the commander led the Celestial group and wiped them out, and the explosion from the grenades caused that landslide." The commander asks, "If someone tries to do something big, the result can be good or bad. Was it really right for Elder Hung to resign just because of that?" Jiang shakes her head. "That wasn't the only reason. After that incident, people questioned him. Why did the supplier pay him in advance? Why did he try to confront the gold merchant manager directly? But Elder Hung never answered. He kept saying he didn't know anything. Even after intense interrogation, he only said one thing." The commander asks quietly, "What did he say?" Jiang replies, "He said he did what was right." At that time, there was an advanced grenade called Pogim, and the Gold Eye Merchant Group was supplying it. If those grenades had reached the raiders, no one could have stopped them. Not warriors, not even civilians. That's why Hung helped the captain. After that mission, the commander arranged compensation for the Jiang family through his superiors, and they promised to repay the damages. But after being sent on another mission, he never found out what happened next. The commander asks, "What's his situation now?" Jiang hesitates, then says, "He's still in the family. As a servant. He begged to stay and promised to live the rest of his life like that." Hearing this, the commander is stunned. Then his eyes start to soften. He remembers something Hung once said, "We're alive today because someone stronger helped us at some point." 9 years ago, if Huang Node hadn't agreed to help, the commander might not have completed that mission. His role wasn't just important for the Murim Alliance, but for the entire Murim world. Suddenly, the commander says, "I want you to gather all the escort warriors currently in the castle." Jiang is confused. "Why?" The commander replies, "Shouldn't we show them why Elder Hung did all of this? Why he endured everything?" Jiang still doesn't understand. "What are you trying to say?" The commander straightens his outfit and says, "I'm saying I'll show them who I really am." Soon, the 3 escort warriors stand in front of him. The atmosphere feels heavy. Nugent says, "I heard you're from the Murim Alliance. I've wanted to fight you anyway, so thanks for this." The commander doesn't respond. He just nods. Seeing that, all 3 get serious. Nugent continues, "Look, you probably think we're weak after what happened earlier, but that's not true. If we had swords, we would have won." The commander simply says, "Okay." That single word annoys him. "Fine, let's see how good you really are." But when Nugent looks into the commander's eyes, he hesitates. "Are you okay? You're not scared, are you?" The elders laugh. "If you're scared, just leave. Why embarrass yourself?" For the first time, the commander speaks clearly. "I couldn't say this before, but I don't want to fight like this. I want to fight my way." The elders get angry. "What nonsense are you talking about? You have to fight anyway. What, do you want to decide the order too? Who goes first? Who goes later?" Jiang asks, "Do you have a preferred order?" The commander replies, "I'll fight all of you at once." Silence. Then explosion of anger. "If that's what you want, fine. But if something happens to you, don't blame us." Jiang tries to stop it, but it's too late. The fight begins. Nugent attacks first, but the commander easily dodges, lands a punch to his stomach, and sends him flying back. Calmly, he says, "You'll have to give it your everything, because I have something to prove, too." Then, all three attack together, from 3 different directions. The commander blocks the first wave easily, pushing them all back. They charge again. This time, Hong Jin-soo moves first. The commander stops him. But now comes the real problem. 2 attacks from different sides. No room to block both. But at the last second, the commander slips through the gap, dodging both attacks perfectly. Then, 2 kicks, 1 punch. All 3 are pushed back again. Next, he drives his blade into the ground, and with a sudden push, broken tiles explode into the air. He slices through them, turning them into deadly projectiles, launching them at the 3 warriors. Then he rushes forward. Everything is happening too fast. They're still trying to block the flying debris when, before they can even react, the commander slashes strike. All 3 collapse. Silence fills the area. No one can believe what just happened. Even the elders, even Jang, are completely stunned. But it's not over. Gogjong tries to stand up and fight again, but Nugent stops him. "Wait. Look at your chest."
Gogjong Peng looks down at his chest and sees a plum blossom mark carved into it. But it's not just him. All 3 of them have the exact same mark on their chests. At that moment, they understand. They've lost. All 3 escort warriors lower their heads and accept defeat. The commander calmly says, "You all fought well." Zhang looks at him in shock. "So you were the one who turned cotton into wool and then into snow?" The commander nods. "Yes. And when you meet Elder Hung, tell him this. He'll have many reasons to be proud in the future." At that exact moment, from a distance, Elder Hung is watching everything. Hearing those words, a strange expression appears on his face. Something beyond words. Meanwhile, we see Zhang Li, the eldest son of the Zhang family, sitting alone in his room, clearly troubled. A few days ago, when the Sok family arrived, he had to secretly escape. Because he is the young lord. If anything happens to him, the entire Zhang family could collapse. And now, in a time when their family is struggling, he hates himself for doing nothing. He clenches his fists. Everyone is doing something. Elders are bringing in escort warriors. His father is planning something. Even Zhang brought someone like Mo Ka. So what about me? I can't just sit here. Just then, the foreign minister enters. From their conversation, we learn Zhang Li had secretly sent 5,000 silver coins to the Grand Duke of the Peng family, who is currently staying at Chawa Mountain, to ask for help. And 5,000 coins is a massive amount, enough for the Zhang family to survive for months. Zhang Li believed that money would be enough to convince him. But the Grand Duke didn't agree. He didn't refuse either. Instead, he gave a condition. Someone of equal status must come personally, a blood-related member of the Zhang family. Only then he would consider helping. Not guarantee, just consider. Hearing this, Zhang Li becomes even more tense, because previously Elder Sa was captured by the Sok family while trying the same thing. So taking this risk again is dangerous. But after thinking for a long time, Zhang Li makes his decision. "I'll go. If we ride now, we can reach there in 2 hours, around dinner time." The foreign minister says, "Then I'll call the escort warriors." But Zhang Li stops him. "No. He asked for me. If I bring escort warriors, what do you think someone like him will do?" The foreign minister hesitates, but going alone right now is too dangerous. Zhang Li cuts him off.
That's exactly why we have to take the risk. After that, he prepares himself and takes the family's blue light blade with him, because on the road, anything can happen. Meanwhile, Zhang and the commander are walking together. She's explaining the history of the Zhang family, their structure, and their current situation. Yeah, we'll learn all that later. But looking at the commander's face, it's clear. He's not interested at all. He asks, "Does an escort warrior really need to know all this?" Zhang replies, "Of course. If you want to be my escort warrior, communication is important." Then she continues explaining. But suddenly, she starts asking him questions about what she just said. And as expected, he can't answer a single one. Zhang narrows her eyes. "You weren't listening, were you?" The commander calmly replies, "Don't misunderstand, young lady. I was listening carefully." Her expression clearly says, "I don't believe you." But the commander isn't lying. He explains, "I just tend to forget things that aren't important. Staying constantly cautious isn't my strength. You should know, compared to others, my memory isn't that great." Just then, Elder Hung runs toward them. He came to talk to Zhang, but seeing the commander, he pauses in surprise. Zhang says, "We've decided. From today onward, he'll be my exclusive escort warrior." Hearing that, Elder Hung thanks the commander, then takes Zhang away for something serious. On the other hand, Nu Jin is training like a madman, replaying the fight in his mind over and over again, trying to find a way to defeat the commander. But no matter how many times he practices, he finds no answer. Then, suddenly, the commander appears behind him. If you can't complete 5 movements in one breath, then combining 2 basic moves in 3 steps might be better. It may look beautiful, but it's not practical. Nu Jin is confused. "What are you talking about?" The commander says, "I once met someone who used the plum blossom sword technique. He used to say something like that. I don't really understand it either, but I thought you might need it." And then he just walks away. Yeah, turns out he just got lost and ended up there. But those words shake Nu Jin completely. His hands start trembling. 5 movements. Was he talking about the 5 plum blossoms? A technique used by the greatest master? Someone I've never even met? Was he talking at that level? I heard the Zhang family doesn't have any experts. Elder, what a joke. Meanwhile, Zhang receives news that Zhang Li has already left, alone, without any escort warriors. She immediately feels uneasy. Something is wrong. But she understands her brother. In his eyes, the Grand Duke of the Peng family is absolute power, someone who can stop this war, just like Mo Ke is in her eyes. But this situation is full of risks. Even if he succeeds, he can't just leave his position as young lord empty. Their father isn't here. The deadline is tonight, 12 a.m., and Zhang Li likely won't return before that. She turns to Mr. Wang. "We have to stop him, at any cost. I have a bad feeling about this." Both of them immediately rush out. But they're too late. Zhang Li has already left. The foreign minister reveals he tried asking all escort warriors for help, but every single one refused. Zhang shouts, "Going out right now without an escort warrior is extremely dangerous." But there's still time. If we leave now, we might catch up to him. Elder Hung agrees. "Yes, we need to go now." Zhang steps forward and says, "I'll go find Mo Ke." Mr. Wang offers to go with her, but she refuses. "No, Elder Wang, you need to stay here. Father and my brother,
Both are already gone.
In their absence, you'll have to protect their position. Mr. Wang nods. All right. Then I'll send Wang with you. On the other side, we see Zhang Li moving through the mountains. He's almost reached the location where the Grand Duke is staying, but suddenly his horse steps into something. A trap. The horse loses balance, and Zhang Li is thrown straight to the ground. When he turns back, he sees his horse hanging, caught by its leg. Before he can even process what's happening, arrows start landing around him, one after another. Panic hits. He tries to run, but suddenly a wooden log swings in from the side and slams straight into his face. Everything goes black. He collapses, unconscious. Moments later, two men appear. One of them looks at Zhang Li and smirks. I set these traps to catch rabbits, but looks like I caught a scared deer instead. Meanwhile, Nu Jin and the foreign minister are out searching for him. As they move through the forest, they spot it, Zhang Li's horse, hanging from a tree. The moment the foreign minister sees it, he collapses to the ground, crying. Elsewhere, Zhang Ju has gone to seek help. He meets an old man. The old man looks at the box of coins and says, "Head Zhang, you're really stubborn. Every time we offered help, you refused. And now, you're the one asking us?" Zhang Ju lowers his head. "Forgive me. Circumstances forced me into this." The man sighs. No, I understand. You're trying to avoid this war, not because you fear the Suck family, but because you don't want bloodshed. But the real question is, how far are you willing to go to avoid this war? Zhang Ju's serious expression gives him the answer, the highest level. The man nods. "Have you ever heard of Pa Bul?" Zhang Ju frowns. "Pa Bul? You mean Pa Gang?" The man replies. "They're similar, but different. Both were expelled from the Shaolin Temple for breaking rules, but the difference is Pa Bul are far more powerful. Pa Gang are rule breakers who can still be captured, but Pa Bul, they're impossible to stop. Even Shaolin doesn't interfere, because fighting them would come at a massive cost. That alone tells you how strong they are." Then he smiles slightly. "Luckily for you, a representative from Gangnam is here right now. I can lend him to you for a few days." Hearing this, Zhang Ju immediately stands up in excitement. "Are you serious? A once-in-a-century master? I'll never forget this favor." The man waves it off. "It's simple. You paid, we help." Then he turns and says, "Bring him in." Zhang Ju feels hope rising again. If this man helps, they'll have two once-in-a-generation martial artists on their side. Maybe, just maybe, the Suck family will back off. But at that moment, the foreign minister arrives, crying. Zhang Ju freezes. What did you just say?" The answer hits like a thunderbolt. "The young lord has been kidnapped." Zhang Ju can't believe it. What did you just say?" The minister hands him a letter. It was found near the horse, along with a map. Zhang Ju opens it. "Nice to meet you, Head Zhang. In Noi Yabang, people call me the Blood Investigator. I'll get straight to the point. Don't misunderstand. Your young lord is safe. I only intend to punish him slightly. That's why I've provided a map to his location." Reading it, Zhang Ju's entire body starts trembling with rage. "Does Zhang know about this?" The minister nods. "She's already gone to Mo Ke." Zhang Ju says nothing, but his face turns red with anger. At that moment, the old man speaks again. "I've brought him." And then we finally see him, a member of the Pa Bul group, Bangak. Meanwhile, Zhang Li meets Mo Ke. Mo Ke looks serious. "I'm sorry. I was watching the Suck family, so I found out about this too late." Zhang asks, "How could you not know? You were monitoring them." Mo Ke replies, "This was something unexpected. I didn't think the young lord would leave alone." Zhang lowers her head. "I'm not blaming you. It's mostly our fault. I just want to know one thing. Can you save my brother and Elder Sa?" Mo Ke sighs for a moment, then says, "I think we're looking at this the wrong way. Why do you think they kidnapped him?" Zhang answers, "To use him as a hostage and destroy our family." Mo Ke shakes his head. "No. I heard they left a map. Noi Yabang specializes in buying time. They chose a location where they could fully use their abilities." Then he looks straight at her. "Their real target isn't Zhang Li. It's me, because I'm the strongest warrior in the Zhang family. They want to capture me. Zhang Li finally understands and immediately apologizes. I'm sorry. Mokei stops her. No need. Even if Noi Yabang is famous, he's nothing compared to one of the 7 wonders. Then he asks calmly, do you think I can't save him in time? Before Zhang can respond, a voice interrupts. The commander, from the way you're talking, it sounds like you're not confident. Mokei looks at him, and from the way you're talking, it sounds like you are. The commander replies calmly, yes, I can do it.